Okay, now I'm going to paint the blade with refractory cement that I've mixed up here. This is Satanite, and this will do a differential heat treat on the blade, and that will give it a softer spine and a harder edge, so it's more flexible. And also give us a hamon. I'm kind of just giving it a basic wave design. Spread it out relatively even. And there's one side. And I'll do the other side. Okay, so we have a refractory clay painted on all four blades, the two 20 inch and the 24 inches, which is this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the kiln and start the heat treating. Okay, so I already have a program for this. One segment, ramp, full speed, temperature. It's 1095, so I'm going 1500. It's a little warm, but when I pull it out, I want it to be at the, don't want it to drop below 1475 before I hit the oil. So 1500 is good. Time. Well, there's 4 blades in there, so I'm going to go 40 minutes. And then I'm going to manually time it for 15 minutes to take it out. And run program. Wait for the clicks. There we go. She's running. Okay, we're up to temperature, so now I need to set my timer for 15 minutes. And then we'll quench the first blade. Okay, time's up. Let's quench our first blade. I'll turn the power off. I want to accidentally hit one of the coils in the kiln. Off. I'm going to go straighten it. Okay, so now I can't temper these blades in my oven inside. It's not big enough. So I have to temper them in the kiln. So I have to get it to cool down as quickly as possible under 400 degrees. And a lot of times it can take quite a while. So I'm just running a fan here just to help cool it down. And as far as our blades, the hamons turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. You can just take a look here. So So far so good. Now we just need to hurry up and get our first temper done. Okay, now it's time to do a hardness test on the blade. I had refractory cement here on the tang, and then along the spine, and then the edge was exposed, as well as this portion of the tang. So I want to do a hardness test in here somewhere and figure out how hard approximately the blade is. So we spin it all the way around till the little needle hits the red, then straight up, center that, and release. Then I'll watch this handle, and when it stops moving, then I'll release the load and we'll see how hard, see what it reads. Typically you do at least 3 tests in different sections of the tang, up to 6. Here we go. So we're a little past 59, which is right about where I want to be. So that's good. Even though 1095 has a tendency to kind of be all over the map a bit. It's finicky to heat treat, and your numbers can range a little. I mean, you can be like 4 or 5 points off in some areas. Anyways, I'll just keep running some more tests to see how hard this is, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I finished hardness testing this blade. The harder section is 58 to 59, and then the softer section is about 38 to 39. So you got a bit of a spring temper in there, so you have some flexibility, and then the edge you hold a nice edge. So that is it. We are done heat treating, and time to move on to finishing. And as you can see, I finished up a batch of little mini Tontos. Okay, now what to do about our finish? Well, as I said before, keeping the price down is the goal here. So a quick finish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandblast this in my blast cabinet with aluminum oxide, grit or medium. I don't know how well you're going to see this. Whoops. But this is a quick and inexpensive method of creating a good looking finish. So as you can see, this is going to take a while, so I won't bore you with watching me do this for the next 10 minutes or whatever it takes. You can still see a hamon in there, but some would say, well, you're cheating, you're not polishing it out and putting all that work into it. Well, a lot of people don't want to pay for that. So sandblast it, scrub it down, and etch it. That's what I'm going to do. So the sandblasting's done. Okay, so now I'm going to do a hard etch on this blade here. And I got to clean it off with acetone. Make sure there's no oils or my fingerprints on it. And normally you would do a fine polish on these things, but this is going to be a simple tactical piece, and I want to have a nice gray patina on it, and I want the hamon to really show up. So take my etchant and rub it on and just keep working it on both sides evenly. That way you get a nice consistent etch. I would dunk it, but this is so long, my etchant jar container isn't deep enough. So this is just another way to do it. And the Hamon is really starting to show up now. See that line running all the way through it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wipe it down with a paper towel, take it to the sink, and scrub it down with a fine steel wool, and come back and do this one more time. This is the second wiping of the etchant on the blade. Now I'll wipe it off. Some guys use baking soda or vinegar to neutralize the etchant, but I find that if I just wash it with soap and water right away, that works well as well. Especially for something like this where it's not critical that it needs to be a perfect etch. It's a strong, deep etch that we're trying to achieve. And using the steel wool helps to polish the blade and get a lot of that steel that's been eaten away on the surface off. And also because it was sandblasted, it pitted the steel, so now I'm scraping evening out the surface with the steel wool. You want to make sure you scrub it really good. That way your coloring is all even. Wash down with soap one more time. Okay, here's our final etch. By the way, what I'm using is ferric chloride, which is the stuff you get from Radio Shack for etching circuit boards. Anyways, pretty happy with the way it came out. There we go, get some light on that.
Derek?
Yo!
What's happening, man?
Shooting a video. There you go. Anyways, now we can assemble the handle.